Crispy chicken sandwich. It is so good. It's everywhere now. And KFC's become quite the heavy hitter with the crispy chicken sandwich. You know, I used to think Popeyes was untouchable. And yeah, I know there's gonna be a lot of people talking about Chick-fil-A, but Chick-fil-A just doesn't have that crispiness that I'm looking for. Sure, it's good. In fact, it's great. It's a great chicken sandwich. I've talked about it a lot in the past, but KFC has a crispy chicken sandwich that now rivals Popeyes. It really is good. So today, I'm gonna show you how to make the best crispy chicken sandwich you can possibly imagine in your own kitchen at home. But the bigger goal today is to take down KFC's chicken sandwich, because we're gonna make it better. We are en route to KFC, and like I said, they have come out with a damn good crispy chicken sandwich. So I'm just super excited to go and try it out again because it genuinely is very tasty. Let's go see what they can cook us up. So here we are. KFC. This looks like a good one. This looks like a solid KFC here. We're really early. It's 10:30-ish or so. And so, you know, most people aren't gonna come to KFC at 10:30, but what I have found is that they will make you wait a few minutes extra sometimes and make you a really fresh, hot sandwich. And so it's actually not the worst thing in the world. So let's go ahead and see if the drive-thru is even open yet. Hello?
Can I help you?
Yes, hi. 3 of the classic chicken sandwiches. How you doing? Are we the first crispy chicken sandwich of the day? No? That's crazy. There is nothing like one of these beautiful crispy chicken sandwiches. And she just kept calling it the chicken sandwich, but something about it makes me love calling it the crispy chicken sandwich. I kind of like the packaging where, you know, you got his cute old head with his little dancing body on the front packaging there. It's cute. It's nice, right? But the real thing is, can they make a good sandwich at 10 o'clock in the morning? And from an initial peek at it, it looks like yes. You can see that it actually looks extraordinarily crispy. And as I spin it around, you can look that it almost has that trademark Popeyes crispy chicken that they've somehow perfected over the years. KFC seems to have figured out the same. But the trick to getting those little crispy bits on the edge is very, very simple. Something that you can absolutely do at home without a problem, and I will show you in just a few moments. For now, let's just take a quick little early morning bite. You know where they beat Popeyes in this sandwich here? Assuming that you get a good batch of these sandwiches when you go to KFC, I genuinely think it may be better than Popeyes, purely because of 2 things. 1, seasoning. The seasoning is on point and it really is good, but 2, and perhaps most importantly, you get a blast of juice when you bite into this thing. I'm excited to dive back into the kitchen and make the KFC chicken sandwich at home. All right, let me focus on driving. Let's get back safe. And here we are. Just like that, we got a few early morning chicken sandwiches. You know, it's funny. Once I looked at the little bow tie under Colonel Sanders over here and saw it for the first time as a body instead of an actual bow tie, I literally just can't unsee it anymore. Now, before we get started, I would really appreciate if you quickly just go down and click the like button. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna give you a second here. Cue the dancing music. All right, now we can get going again. And to those of you that just liked the video, thank you. Now, like I said, what we're looking at right here is a fantastic chicken sandwich. I'll slide this right out, and immediately you see all that crispiness. I mean, just look at it climbing right out of the bun. Leaping out of the bun. It's as crispy as you could possibly get. But it just so happens that we can make it better. To start, we're gonna make our brioche buns. And first, this means making something called a tangzong. Now, that's gonna be about a 1/4 cup of whole milk, 2 tablespoons of bread flour, spank, and 2 tablespoons of water. Now we're gonna crank up the heat and whisk this around until we get rid of all the clumps and the mixture starts to thicken up, which really shouldn't take very long. You can see just moments later that this gets really clumpy and sticky. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get out, get out. And at that point, you can turn off the heat and we'll set our tangzong aside. Now, once we set the tangzong aside, into our mixing bowl, we're gonna add 3/4 cup of lukewarm milk, then 2.5 tablespoons of sugar, as well as 1 tablespoon of active dry yeast as we whisk. Don't drop in that yeast if you're not mixing. It's gonna get all clumpy and you're gonna be very sad. At this point, we'll cover this with a towel and let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes for the yeast to wake up. Once that yeast has woken up, we're gonna add that to our mixing bowl. And at this point, we're gonna drop in 3¼ cups of bread flour and a nice little pinch of my salt, which I'm gonna be selling very soon and will tell you about later in the video. I'm super excited. Let this mix for just a few moments, then add in your tangzong and 1 whole egg, which you have to do a 1-handed egg crack with, as well as 1 additional egg yolk. And then last but not least, I'll add in a bunch of little tiny cubes of about 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, which we'll let evenly spread throughout our brioche dough. Once we've been kneading for a while, we'll lift this up, take off that dough, and lightly press it out on our cutting board, ultimately bringing it together in a nice big ball. First things first though, I'll give it a little spank. What? You're actually fired. You're actually fired. Get out. Get out of the kitchen. Now at this point, I'll add just a little bit of oil to the bottom of my bowl, drop in that dough ball, and cover it with a nice damp towel for about an hour or an hour and a half to let it rise. Now it's time for our good old bird. Oh, to start, we're gonna flip her on over, cut back those legs and thighs so that we can have access to the breast. No, keep the camera down, keep the camera down. And then slice off those chicken titties. And now what you got right here is a beautiful old chicken breast. We'll do the same thing on the other side, cutting in at the leg and thigh, and then snapping it outwards. The same thing on the other side, cutting that whole chicken breast cleanly off. To start, into the bowl, we'll add those chicken breasts, then immediately we'll cover them with some buttermilk because we want them to break down and get nice and tender. Next, for our seasoning, we'll add a nice sprinkle of salt, a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder, some dried oregano, a little dried basil, a generous handful of paprika or smoked paprika, and some nice fresh cracked pepper. Then, I'll quickly dive in and mix this up to properly marinate all of this chicken. I mean, just look at the seasoning dripping down the sides of these bad boys. And then we'll place this in the fridge to rest for a few hours. At this point in time, our bread has about doubled in size, which means, of course, that it's time to give it a little whack. We want it to deflate down just a little bit so that we can work with it again here for a moment. First, I'm gonna flour my whole work surface with bread flour, then gently pull that beautiful airy bread dough and lay it right in the middle. Using just a little bit more flour, I'm gonna gently shape it into a nice log where I'm then gonna divide it into 8 equal pieces. Just try to remember how much these are gonna expand when they actually cook, which is exactly why we need to break it into pieces this size. At this point, I'll take each individual piece, gently pinch from the outsides into the bottom such that we get really smooth dough balls, going all the way around each bun. And once it sort of looks like a soup dumpling, we'll flip it over, then roll it gently around on our board to get that perfect shape. Ultimately, you'll get the perfect looking burger bun that's gonna rise once again. Repeat this exact process with all of your dough balls. Once all our buns are well rested, I'm gonna cover them with a warm blanket and let them take a little nap for about 15 or so minutes to let them come back up to size. Once you've let them rest for a little while, our buns are ready to get painted. But first, to prepare that egg wash, we simply wanna crack in 1 egg to just a little bit of water. Then mix that around. Now, generously coat each and every one of our buns with egg wash, but make sure to go all the way under those buns and get as low as you can into every single nook and cranny. You don't want some weird spotted bun that doesn't have that beautiful golden brown color you're looking for on some areas. We say it in every single video, and I'm gonna say it again. This always is one of my favorite parts about making homemade buns. Painting them all with the egg wash is just such a satisfying thing. And it's cool that the silicone paintbrush can be such a helpful tool in the kitchen. Now at this point, we're gonna bake these buns at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 18 minutes till golden brown. And into the oven we go. After a little while, our buns are complete. And can I just say, these things look absolutely stunning. Hold on, I'll be right back. Don't touch my buns. What'd I say about my buns? Now we're finally ready to fry that chicken. So to start, we're gonna put in a bunch of potato starch. If you're new here, we do not fry with flour on this channel. We deep fry with anything but all-purpose flour because it's a lot crispier and it's a lot better. At this point, we're gonna add a little bit of salt, a little bit of fresh cracked pepper, and a little bit more smoked paprika. Now, to get those little crispy bits that we see on the edge of the KFC sandwich, we're gonna bring over a few spoonfuls of this buttermilk liquid and drop it straight into our dry mixture. Then we'll take a fork and begin mixing this up to get nice clumpiness. Just continue adding a little bit of that liquid until the mixture becomes small and crumbly. Then, when you go to dredge that chicken, it's gonna pick up some of those larger clumps, and those are gonna be what give us that texture on our fried chicken. Now to dredge our chicken, we're gonna take our pieces, shake off that excess buttermilk, and drop them straight into the potato starch, pushing to get some of those crispy bits. Then, flip that chicken over, press it again, really making sure to evenly and fully coat it, and there you have it, a crumbly but well-coated piece of chicken. Do that same thing with your other chicken breast, and we can note here that I've left the skin on to get some extra crisp. You can make the decision yourself whether or not you want to keep that skin on when you go to fry your chicken. Now that they're both well coated, let's fry. At this point, my oil's at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'll take both pieces of chicken, gently sway them into that oil, and drop them down to cook. Note that I drop them in gradually such that they don't stick to the bottom. This is the same technique used for making tempura. At this point in time, I'll cover them with the lid and cook them for about 5 to 6 minutes. After just a few minutes, our chicken has gone through what I like to call the first cooking phase, where we're actually cooking it as opposed to getting that really golden brown crust. Now we'll rest it for a few minutes and then we'll fry it again to get that golden brown exterior. And now once the oil reaches 375 Fahrenheit, it's time for the second round of fry. Now we watch it to get crispy and golden brown. At this point in time, our chicken is complete. At this point, we're gonna hit it again immediately with some of the salt, which again is salt that I will soon be selling, and I cannot be more excited. I'll tell you about it in just a minute. Now that our chicken's done, it's time to cut these buns. I think these are some of the best buns we've made yet. And now it's time to complete the sandwiches. First things first, a little bit of mayo clean across the bottom. I'm not really a spicy guy, so mayo's gonna do it for me. Next, we're gonna go down with our nice crispy piece of chicken. And of course, to finish it off, we'll go down with 3 nice slices of our homemade pickles. Now, we'll top it off with that nice cute little bun, and our chicken sandwich is complete. Give all yourselves a pat on the back, because we just killed it. Now, obviously our sandwich looks great, but I do wanna give you a little bit of ASMR here, because you deserve that, especially if you liked the video. And by liked, I mean tossed a like on the video and actually enjoyed it too, because that's important to me. I also just wanted to show you how juicy and amazing this chicken really is. So, here we go. Obviously we passed the crisp factor, but how about that inside? Let's see. I know people get upset, but there's only one real and true way for all of you to watch as I test the juiciness. So here goes nothing. I'd say we passed the test. Now, this crispy chicken sandwich looks utterly fantastic. And by the way, I might as well just explain it, but no, those really black dark spots, it doesn't mean it's burnt. Because we're trying to get these crispy bits here, what happens is that sometimes some of the chicken's gonna be uncovered, which basically means that it's exposed to the oil, and you don't want that. But what'll happen is that the oil will get in there and get it almost a little bit overly crispy and brown. And again, it's totally fine, but that's what you're seeing on some parts of the chicken. I will say, however, that this thing looks incredible. But first, as promised, I figured I'd show you some of that salt I've been working on for quite some time. These are the jars they come in. This stuff right here is black flaky salt. It is absolutely beautiful, and I'm so excited that we were able to get this. But we didn't stop there. This one's a black truffle. Right here, I have a mesquite smoked salt, and then a white flaky, and perhaps my favorite of them all, a roasted garlic salt, which really took us a lot of time to nail down. Now, without further ado, let's do what we all came here to really see, and let's bite into this crispy chicken sandwich. The sandwich is so good that I might rehire the cameraman. It is so incredibly juicy, and I mean juicy. When you bite into that, your whole mouth is coated with this fatty chicken flavored layer of delicious broth. Then of course you get that amazing white meat chicken, the really crispy, which I know you heard, outside, which of course comes from the potato starch. Please do not use flour again, especially not after seeing this video. And then of course it's all brought together and balanced by that creamy, delicious mayonnaise, as well as those slightly acidic pickles that also provide some texture and crunch. Not to mention, all sandwiched between 2 delicious brioche buns, made very, very light and fluffy by the tangzong that we made at the beginning. I mean, seriously, ain't nobody got better buns than I do. I'm sorry. But I mean, I think we can appreciate a good set of buns together, right? In all seriousness, I hope you enjoyed the video, and again, please don't forget to toss a like because it helps us a ton. Thank you for watching. KFC, you put up a heck of a fight, and you make a great chicken sandwich. I can't deny it. I'm gonna go eat a few of these by myself. I should not have squeezed out all the juice, but I wanted to show you how juicy it is. And in the meantime, I'll see y'all on the flippity flip.